Hello, welcome to everyone. My name is Antonio from TradeSysTech.net. In this new video tutorial, we are going to discuss about pro and cons of the options. What are the advantages? What's the disadvantages? Why should I trade options compared to other linear instruments? So we move now on a short list of what are the advantages of trading option. The main thing of the advantage, the edge of an options is that first of all, the risk is under control and the stop loss is naturally part of an option because actually when you trade, for example, when you buy an option, the maximum loss is pretty limited. So it's a sort of stop loss which is part of the options. With the options, you have an high probability of success, an high probability of successful trading. Many platforms actually exhibit tools which helps you in setting up high probability strategies such as probability comp in order to realize what are the best strikes to be chosen for your option strategy. When you trade linear instruments such as Forex or shares, you may have a direction that you want to trade and you want to trade such a buys. That's possible even with options as well. And if you are a seller, if you are an option seller, you may earn the entire premium. Uh, and even if the underlying moves against you, as long it's moving within the strike level, you might get the entire premium as well. While with linear instruments, it's pretty hard when the shares moves very smooth or very steady. So, and if you don't have a market direction, so the shares, the underlying are steady and they don't exhibit a clear direction, that might be the ideal situation for option trading because you can earn once again the entire premium because the time is your friend when you sell options. By passing time, you can earn the entire premium. And the access easy because the option margin requirements is pretty low. Um, if you are trading 100 shares, you might need a risk capital such as $1,000, $2,000 versus $100, $200 for options. That's another great advantage. So let's focus on the main because one of the questions that maybe everyone can make is if I can sell and I can buy the option, what's the best choice? Where is the most significant edge, the significant advantage? When I sell or when I buy the options? That could be an important and interesting question. Alright, let's focus on what seller earns when he's selling his option. When you sell an option, like in this case, let's say the underlying is somewhere here when I sell the option. So in this case, I earn if the underlines move through the direction we bet. So in this case, we are bearish. We earn even when the movement is pretty low. And we earn even if the movement, the underlying movement, is against B, but not too much. Buyer, that's the case. Here I'm buying a call, here I'm selling a call. Buyer is earning when the underlines move through the direction we hope, but by a significant entity over the strike and very quickly. So when I buy an option, let's say I buy here, when I buy this option and the underline is somewhere here, I hope the underline is get moving quickly in this direction over the strike, and then I earn a lot But if the underlying says somewhere here, then I'm paying and losing the entire premium. In this case, I'm getting the entire premium. So you already see a very great difference and advantage. Uh, the requirement for buying option is pretty hard. It's tough. I expect the underlying movement is quick and it must go through my direction and as fast as possible. In the case of selling, doesn't matter if the movement is not going in the direction as quickly as possible, as I hope, as long as it's not against me too much. So that's the advantage of selling. Uh, for option, the advantage is that the maximum loss, as you can see here, is pretty limited and predetermined. While for selling, the loss, technically speaking, can be very high. So as option trader, I like to sell because the requirement is not so hard like when I buy, where once again I repeat, I expect the underlying as to move quickly, as quick as possible through the direction I hope. That's not the case of seller. So I can make even some small mistake regarding the expectation, regarding the underlying movement expectation. What we really don't like when we sell option is this. The loss can be uh, bigger and bigger. So while for the advantage of buy, the loss is pretty limited. So how can I solve this? Easy. I can simply combine the advantage of selling with the advantage of buying, and I create a combination, a strategy. So, if I take the advantage from selling, I earn by time passing here, and at the same time, I take the advantage from buying option by setting a limit to the maximum loss, then I'm combining the option selling the call with option buying call. With same expiration month, but with strike is different. Here is the strike for selling option, that's the strike for buying option, the call in this case. So I'm creating a spread for the strike with the same expiration month. We have just created a very simple strategy. It's called bear call spread. In this case, I'm bearish, and it's okay if the underlying moves against me, but not too much. And even if in the worst case scenario, where the underlying is really moving hardly against me, now I have inserted the maximum loss, the advantage of buying call. Remember? Yeah, that's the thing. So if we want to move to a very practical example, we might decide to analyze an underline such as this one, where you see from technical perspective, you see a resistance around this level 35. And I have, let's say, a bearish bias. In this case, I can easily create the vertical spread that we have just discussed, where the strike for the call that I sell might be somewhere here, 35. And remember the graph, the strike for the option which is bought is normally 3-5 point over. So let's say the strike for the option that I'm selling, the call, is 35, and in this case the strike for the option for the call that I'm buying, it might be somewhere here, 38 or 40. Well, we need to move to the specific case. We cannot say like that, but that's the average. So once again, I'm buying call because I want to cover my risk. I want to limit my risk. Of course, the disadvantage is that I have to use part of my premium. The premium when I sell the option is used to buy the call. But hey, I'm limiting my risk. That's good. What if we move to the option side? So vice versa, to the case where I have a bullish bias, like in this case, where I am assuming uh, I have a bullish bias and I see a support around this area nearby 55. Well, then I simply creating I create a sort of mirror of the previous strategy, where remember we sold call and we cover up by buying a call. In this case, we sell a put and we cover by buying a put. That's the case. So once again, we say we sell a put covered by another put with different strike and same expiration date. This is also a vertical spread. It's called bull-put spread, where I have a bullish bias. Again, there is a difference in strike between the sold put and the bought put. The difference is normally, once again, of 3-5 points. So let's say I'm selling, yeah, that's the support 55. I'm selling put with strike 55, or maybe it's even better just to be more, confident. I might sell the level 54 or 53. Depends on the, yeah, you need to realize also other important element that we discussed during our trainings. But anyway, let's say I'm selling a put with strike level, we say 55. Then I cover, you see here, I'm cutting my maximum loss when I buy the put, and the strike for the put that I'm buying is 3-5 level below, so it might be 50 or 52, something like that. You see, that's the graph, the expiration graph. Please keep in mind that's something that we are not showing here, but we show on the platform. This line you see here is the expiration line. During the life, so the last day of life, the last life day of the expiration, you have such a profile. But during the life, so let's say 1 day, 2 days, 1 week after I open my strategy, the graph is something in between. Now I'm not showing here, I don't want to overcomplicate the things. Maybe in another video we show these graphs during the life of the option. But in order to show you what's the idea behind this, I'm just showing this graph. But please keep in mind, bear in mind, this is the profile at expiration, but in between you have a line something like that. So it's something in between. Alright, having said that, that's the new strategy when I'm bullish, and it's called bull-put spread. And this is called the break-even points. So at the expiration, if my underlying is somewhere here, then I'm not earning, but also I'm not losing money, which is good anyway. Good. What if I don't know the direction? So, hey, I say I don't know. It might be bull. I might have a bullish or bearish bias, and I don't know. Well, that's not an issue for options. If you don't have any direction perspective, if you don't have any direction bias, that's the ideal for options, because that's the great advantage of selling options. Because we don't need that the underlying is moving as quickly as possible into the direction we want, as long as it stays somewhere in between. In this case, where I really don't know if I should be bearish or bullish, well, easy. Then I simply combine the two strategies that we have discussed. I simply combine the bull put spread with bear call spread, and then I get a new strategy that's one of our favorite, and it's called iron condor, where it's fine that the underlying goes up and it might be even down as long it stays in between the two strikes. But please also, this iron condor is a good strategy, but it's not for every underlying. We use for specific kind of underline. We discuss it in our training, and we invite you to visit our website where we explain the content of our course. Or if you are not interested to learn these things, you can even decide to get a subscription to our signals. So that's the ideal. You're starting to realize that you can create many kind of strategy with options, and depending on the market condition, we might either decide to set up a specific strategy, which is the idea when the implied volatility is low or when the implied volatility is high. In another video, we discussed this important index called VIX. And one of the main things that every option trader does is to have a look at this VIX. And when it's high and descending, we might decide to open a specific strategy. While when it's low and it's getting higher and higher, then I might decide to open a different strategy. So depending on really on the market condition, it's the market is demanding what we need to do, and we try to follow the market. So, for example, in case the implied volatility is pretty low, another strategy, the ideal strategy in such a market condition, is called calendar spread. In this case, the spread difference is not given by different strike as we did for the vertical, but the spread is given by different expiration months. So strike is the same, and it's an ATM strike. I sell a front month option and I buy an option with an expiration month which is 1, 2, 3 months later than the expiration month for option which is sold. That's how this strategy works. But I don't want to go too much into detail because it's a long discussion. Once again, we give all the possible details and examples and trading during our training, our courses. Even in this case, the red lines indicate the break-even point for this strategy. And if we don't like this strategy because we might say, I see the BEPs very close to each other, then we can combine two different calendar spread where I set up a calendar spread with a specific strike and another one with an higher strike. So I'm getting the break-even points area a bit larger. And so in this case, I have more chance to get an edge from this strategy. And well, maybe in this case, I have to get out part of the premium of the gain that I'm trying to get. All right. I'm gonna leave with this final observation. Once again we invite you to visit our website, and we have other videos on these options and on other topics. Feel free to decide to subscribe to our newsletter or to read our articles related to the trading. For the moment, I want to thank you for our attention, and we hopefully to see you again on the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.